Bach has a universal mind, an overwhelming heart, and a transcendental spirit, and you can't beat that. Once you've had a view of Bach, you never again will be the same.
It takes an entire day to set up the 1.5 tons of equipment known as Revelation lights. It's all the creation of David Snyder, who calls himself the world's only classical lumièriste, a word he invented himself from the French word for light.
The timing element of what I do is very important, because if I lag, if I am too slow, then it gives the person that is watching the idea that I am following up a sound that Virgil is making, and I don't like to give this impression. I like to be right along with him because it is a simultaneous performance.
Everything that happens on that screen is a further enunciation of what the music is doing. You see, Bach is the one composer that can take any amount of color and any amount of shape and exaggeration, if you please, of the enunciation. He is a cathedral builder in sound.
I think that the Bach saw things. Music is vibration, light is vibration, and to listen to sound somewhere inside of you, it has to strike your imagination. I think Bach would be delighted.
There is a plan, you see, where we would like to get smell and taste and touch involved in what we do with the sight and the hearing. At a moment like that, I think the human would just have to absolutely give in, let go, because the trip is on.
I am in open warfare with a gang of creeps who call themselves purists. You want to know who they are? I'll tell you who they are. They're the ones that talk about it but can't do it. These oddballs call it the little fugue. They put on an 8 and a 2-foot stop. You don't know what that means, but it's just a poop on one end and a poop on the other. And they sit there playing their little typewriters like note-pushing nobodies during this piece. I'm going to give you the theme of the short G minor, and you decide whether this is heroic stuff or whether they are right. Here's the tune. As if all the music in the world could possibly be lined up on this side. And then Bach, the greatest composer of all, stuck over here in some kind of a glass case in a museum under dust next to a comb that some dead queen wore in her hair 3,000 years ago. Not on your life. The sermon is over. We're about to start with the real thing. I don't talk about it. I propose to get on that machine and do it.
You see, the purists are a gang of absolute creeps who hide behind their little squeaky conversations about the limitations of 200 years ago. The mainstream of life is going right past them. They don't have blood in their veins, they have water. They're a bunch of four-flushing fakes. And when these critics take lambasting at me, they do it for one reason. They are little unknown nobodies, and they say things to attract attention to themselves. My Bach is alive. The purest Bach is dead. They sit around and say, well, of course, what Fox plays is not Bach. They are 100% in error. I make it exactly as Bach wrote it, and I give it color, and I give it gut. There's no point in standing around being modest about it. I'm not modest. I know that I can do the thing that I tell them I'm going to do. And I sit down and jolly well do it. It is a trip, and the difference between my trip and anybody else's is that I come out clean.